Today, we're going over 5 types of houses you should never buy in Barrie, Ontario. Now, quick caveat before the pitchforks come out. There are lots of these houses in Barrie, and buying one can absolutely make sense. But what's important here is making sure you do your due diligence. Understand the risks and go in with your eyes wide open. But you don't have to do this alone. Your realtor should be guiding you along the way. Real quick, my name is Ben Robitaille. I'm your Simcoe County and Muskoka real estate guy. Now, I don't want to refer to these homes as a hit list, like never buy under any circumstances. This is more of a buyer's checklist just to keep buyers aware of homes that have the potential for some costly repairs and would fall under the category of a bad investment. Now, while the pace of the market has slowed, Barrie's market offers a lot of variety. There are a few condos, not as many as the city, but there are some condos. There's new development. There's an influx of commuters. Buyer demand is shifting all over the place. And sometimes with that comes rushed decisions. Buyers may jump at listings that look unique or affordable without sometimes asking the real question, which is, why is it priced this way? Have you ever walked through a home that looked like a good deal, but something felt off? Make sure to drop a comment if you've ever had this experience and had that red flag moment. I want to know what it was. But without further ado, let's jump into the 5 types of homes that I would avoid or, again, do my due diligence before buying in Barrie. The fixer-upper that needs absolutely everything. Now, a lot of these can be so tempting because of price, and you might look at it and say, oh, it's all cosmetic. Biggest danger here is not knowing what's under the drywall. Now, while inspections will catch a good number of issues if there are any, it's impossible to pull back all the walls and really know what's actually going on in the house. Maybe there's some knob and tube hiding out that's still active that's moments away from a fire and you can't get insurance on the house. But if you've bought it without checking any of this, it's your problem now, and that really, really sucks. So what I would do if you were looking at one of these houses is A, get a top tier inspection. We've got some great referrals in the area, so if you need a referral, let us know. Happy to send one your way. The other thing is, don't stop at just a general home inspection. If there are concerns around the foundation, around the electrical, around the plumbing, you should be bringing in those services before you firm up on a deal to have a better idea of what repair or replacement costs are going to run you before you even decide to buy the house. Now, one other tip I'm going to throw in this section is look at fully renovated comps in the neighborhood to have an idea of what the house would be worth if it were fully renovated. Because if you're buying a $400,000 house that's worth $550 fully renovated and you put $200,000 into it, you're $50,000 in the hole right out the gate. I'd rather see you go the other way, where you buy the $400,000 house, put 200,000 into it, and it's worth 650 to 700. And while we're on the topic of renovation costs, let's casually add 30 to 50% of your renovation budget for hidden surprises. The second house I would avoid buying is the odd layout or the non-standard design house. Unusual floor plans, split levels, some converted spaces can make living awkward while you're there and makes resale really tricky. The risk with these homes is they're expensive to renovate and they appeal to few buyers. I'm going to use our home buying experience as an example here. When my wife and I were looking to buy our first home, we were looking at homes that had backyards, but then some of them did not have access to the backyard unless you went out through the side door. For me, I still can't tell you why to this day, but it was a sticking point. I wanted to be able to access the backyard from the back of the house. Now, this is a very minor example, but let's say, for example, you had to go through the primary bedroom to get to the kitchen. Sounds odd, right? Now, I'm willing to bet this house exists somewhere, and imagine trying to sell that to a first-time buyer who's looking to get into the market. That's a big compromise for someone to make, to spend a couple $100,000 on your house. So what I would do in this situation here is ask yourself, would you buy this house again 5 years from now? Now, if you absolutely love the house, you're going to live there for the next 40 years and you really don't care about any of that, go ahead. Do it. Enjoy the house. Love your home. The third type of house I would avoid is the busy street, noisy neighborhood house. It looks perfect online, but in person, it's all honks, trucks, and traffic. For a lot of people who have regular 9 to 5 jobs, seeing houses after work is, I think, a perfect time to test this theory. So when you actually visit the house, spend a little bit of time outside and take note of what you're hearing. If you're not hearing anything, great, buy the house as long as it's not one of the other four. But if all you can hear is transports roaring down the highway, it is something to take into consideration and something that will 100% affect your resale value. So in this scenario, I would almost do the exact same thing I would with the non-standard layout house, is ask yourself, would you buy this house again in 5 years, knowing that it's going to be loud and you're going to hear transports all live long day? And if the answer is yes, who am I to stop you? But just know when you go to sell this house, that's going to come up for buyers going through the property looking to give you a couple $100,000 for your house. House number 4 is the overpriced new build in an untested area. Now, if you're a builder watching this video, you feel free, let me have it in the comments. But if you're a brand new subdivision in the middle of nowhere with no resale history and no real amenities yet, a lot of that future pricing is speculative, and it's not always going to turn out poorly, but it is a risk that you should be aware of. If there's no schools or shops yet, like what happens if there are construction delays and you turn around 5 years from now, nothing else is built and you have to sell the house, right? Sometimes there will be no other comparable sales to tell us what this house is really worth on the open market. So again, if you can pull comps from other communities at similar stages, that would be the best way to start to at least protect yourself from the risk that's inherent in buying any piece of real estate. Also, take a look at the developer. Are they well established? Do they have a good reputation? Because that also plays a factor. If they're successful and they've been doing this for a long time, the odds that the project gets taken all the way to completion skyrocket versus the first time developer who may get in over their head and building stops halfway through the neighborhood. The 5th type of home I would avoid buying if I were in Barrie is a massive home on a tiny piece of land. Impressive inside, little claustrophobic outside. For example, I'm seeing an increase in the number of houses being condensed into smaller areas. So they don't have backyards, minimal front yards. You share a neighbor on the backside and both sides of you. While this is great to do some urban infilling, you barely have any privacy. You don't have any personal outdoor space. If there's draining issues, it's going to affect you even if you may not be the cause. And while I think this segment of the market might start to appeal more and more to first-time homebuyers who are just trying to get in, I don't think it's going to be property that people are going to hold on to for a very long time. Meaning we're going to see a larger amount of inventory of this type of listing on the market. And simple rules of supply and demand, when inventory goes up and demand doesn't change with it, prices tend to come down. Now, I want to reiterate here, my goal is not to scare you off, it's to make you sharper. These homes can still very well work for you as long as you inspect them thoroughly, compare local comps before offering, budget a safety margin for surprises, and always, always, always think resale. When I talk to my clients, we always talk about a minimum 5-year hold, because if anything happens and you need to sell your home in 5 years, my goal is always for you to at least break even. If I could drive anything home here, it's don't fall in love with potential, fall in love with smart choices. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe if you find real estate content like this helpful. And tell me in the comments, which house type makes you most nervous when you're out there looking? Now, if you're selling or shopping for a home in Barrie, Simcoe County, or South Muskoka, you can book a call with me in the description of this video. 15 minutes, we can talk about your situation and talk about how to make the most of it. Again, I'm Ben Robitaille. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.